Hi, my name is Maria Clara, and today I want to share my story about this tightness in my chest called anxiety. Ever since I was a child, I was always sensitive, observant, and had an imagination that made me create worlds of my own. I was that girl who preferred to sit in the corner of the classroom reading a book while others ran around and played. My parents never saw this as something concerning. After all, I was a quiet and studious child. However, what no one knew was that, even back then, I already felt a certain internal discomfort, a constant restlessness that I couldn't explain. When I entered high school, this feeling intensified. The pressure for grades, the fear of disappointing my parents, and the need to be perfect in everything I did consumed me. I spent sleepless nights studying, reviewing every detail, always afraid of failing. But even with all this effort, I never felt enough. Insomnia became my companion, and I began to feel a tightness in my chest, as if something was always about to go wrong. It was during this time that I started to isolate myself. While my friends went out to have fun, I preferred to stay home, studying or going over plans for the future. That future terrified me. What if I couldn't pass the entrance exams? What if I didn't choose the right profession? These questions kept repeating in my mind, preventing me from living the present lightly. Everything was about what was to come, and the present felt like a burden. Choosing to study engineering was another attempt to ensure a secure future. It wasn't something I loved, but it seemed like the most rational choice, the one that would bring financial stability. However, in college, my anxiety grew even stronger. The environment was competitive, and I felt as if I was constantly being evaluated, as if at any moment someone would realize that I wasn't as good as everyone thought. I started having panic attacks before exams. My heart would race, my hands would tremble, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. During this period, I got involved with Pedro, a classmate. At first, he seemed to be the balance I needed. He was outgoing, made me laugh, and encouraged me to go out. But over time, my anxiety began to infiltrate the relationship. I lived in fear that he didn't really love me, that he would find someone better. These insecurities led me to try to control the relationship, and as a result, Pedro started to pull away. When he broke up with me, I was devastated. I blamed myself for everything, and my anxiety only got worse. After the breakup, I dove even deeper into my studies, as if that could make me forget the pain. I graduated with honors, but I paid a high price for it. I was emotionally exhausted, and the idea of entering the job market terrified me. I landed a job at a multinational company, which was the dream of many recent graduates, but I only felt fear. The corporate environment was relentless, and the pressure for results was constant. Every meeting was a challenge, and I lived in fear of making mistakes, of being judged, of failing. My health started to deteriorate. Dizziness, palpitations, constant headaches. Until one day at the office, I had such a severe panic attack that I thought I was having a heart attack. I was taken to the hospital, but the doctors said I was physically fine. That was when they suggested I seek psychological help. That was the moment I realized I couldn't go on like this, that I needed help. I sought out a psychiatrist and was diagnosed with Generalized Anxiety Disorder, GAD. I started taking medication to control the symptoms and began cognitive behavioral therapy. The therapy was a painful but extremely necessary process. I had to confront my deepest beliefs, understand that my pursuit of perfection was destroying me. I learned that my worth wasn't tied to my performance, that I didn't need to be perfect all the time. In addition to therapy, I began to find ways to take better care of myself. Yoga and meditation became important parts of my routine, helping to keep my mind and body in balance. I started to create a routine that included moments of self-care, something I had never considered important before. The change wasn't immediate, and there were many days when I still felt suffocated by anxiety. But now I had tools to deal with it. Little by little, I began to speak more openly about my anxiety. Before, I hid it, afraid of what others would think, afraid of being seen as weak. But when I started sharing my story, I discovered that I wasn't alone. Many colleagues and friends were also facing similar struggles, and this created a new connection between us. Realizing that I wasn't the only one gave me the strength to continue. I decided to reevaluate my priorities. I realized that I was living to meet expectations that weren't even mine, that I needed to find a path that made sense for me. I reduced my work hours and started dedicating myself to activities that genuinely made me happy, like writing and painting, hobbies I had neglected for so long. Sharing my story was also an important milestone. During a mental health talk at my company, I took the stage and told everyone what I had been through. It was liberating, and the feedback I received was incredible. Many people came to me afterward, thanking me for the courage to speak about such an important topic. This motivated me to get even more involved in mental health support projects. Today, I know that anxiety will be a companion for life, but I'm no longer afraid of it. I've learned to live with this part of myself, to accept it, and to use it as a way to know myself better. Of course, I have difficult days, but now I know I have the tools and support needed to overcome them. I found strength in my vulnerability, and this gave me a new sense of purpose. I also started volunteering at an NGO that supports people with anxiety and depression disorders. Helping others face their challenges brought me a new sense of fulfillment, showing me that, even amidst difficulties, it's possible to find purpose and help others. Today, I see that my journey, although painful, has transformed me into someone stronger and more aware. My journey continues, and I'm fully aware that anxiety is part of my story. But instead of fighting against it, I've learned to accept it, to listen to what it has to say, and to take better care of myself. I don't need to be perfect, and it's okay to be vulnerable. By sharing my story, I hope to inspire others to seek help and understand that they are not alone. We all have our ups and downs, but what's important is to keep going with courage and determination, knowing that even in the darkest moments, there is always a light that will guide us to a better place.